In the ever-evolving landscape of finance, cryptocurrencies have firmly established themselves as a critical innovation. These digital or virtual currencies, leveraging advanced cryptography for security, operate beyond the reach of traditional central banking systems. Their adoption has seen a remarkable surge globally, a trend that gained significant momentum during the COVID-19 pandemic. Even in India, where cryptocurrencies remain unregulated, the interest and engagement with this form of currency reflect a wide range of responses.
Cryptocurrencies are not really, at least the initial intent or the primary use is not really to function as an investment tool or investment product, but it actually derives its value from the underlying blockchain. And that's why even if you look at how the demand and supply mechanism works, then the value or the price of any specific cryptocurrency is supposed to go up depending on what is the demand of the underlying blockchain. So if assume, if there are so many people who want to interact with or use the underlying blockchain, then of course, since they will require to buy that native cryptocurrency, to pay the transaction fee, that will create the demand side pressure. And of course, because of that demand side pressure, the value or the price of the cryptocurrency will go up.
Currency would sort of be a misnomer, because when you talk about currencies are something which are accepted universally for the purposes of trade, for the purposes of buying and selling of goods. But cryptocurrencies have in most of the countries not being recognized as currencies anywhere. Maybe small countries like Senegal, they have recognized cryptocurrencies, but not everywhere else. So I won't call it currency per se. Maybe we can just stick to crypto tokens.
The International Monetary Fund has warned that unregulated cryptocurrencies could lead to the creation of an alternative financial system. While cryptocurrencies might offer benefits to some individuals and financial institutions, the risks and costs they introduce, particularly in developing countries, could outweigh these advantages. Furthermore, there's a growing concern that if these digital currencies continue to operate without regulation, they could potentially harm a country's economy over time.
So there are few concerns highlighted even by IMF or even Reserve Bank of India has been talking about some of the concerns they have. Concerns around financial stability and say the concern around losing monetary control to some extent. And those concerns actually emanate from the fact that if a huge number of people from any country, they start interacting with crypto, and if it becomes a widespread and very common investment product, then the problem is, to some extent, the government or the RBI thinks that it will cause some problem to the financial stability, because this is not something which is being regulated heavily by the government. They do not have the kind of visibility into the crypto space that they have when it comes to banks and other financial institutions.
If you have very large proportion of cryptocurrency, it will start challenging, or let's say if it becomes a much larger proportion of the total currency that people hold, then it will start sort of interacting with the liquidity situation, with interest rates and other things. So it will have an impact on the economy as well. So it will have an impact on the interest rates, etc., and the term spread of the deposit rates and the lending rates. So it has got that part of financial market implications as well. As far as the economy is concerned, if you have a wider acceptance of cryptocurrency, and RBI is trying to come up with its own digital currencies as an alternative, the RBI is kind of quite wary about the fact that if it becomes larger, it will start challenging the liquidity scenario, the banking system scenario, quite significantly, and hence there is the RBI has been quite against the usage of cryptocurrency at a policy level. The position that the central bank and the government also is kind of agreeing with that there should be a ban on that. So that is why there has been a talk about usage of or introduction of the digital central bank issued digital currency.
As the digital currency landscape continues to evolve, a pressing question emerges. Why has government action on regulating cryptocurrencies been so measured? Despite extensive discussions and debates on the subject, and with citizens investing significant amounts of money into these digital currencies, concrete regulatory goals from the government remain elusive.
How do you actually regulate this market? Like you have to ensure that it is not going to be used for any criminal activities. Okay, so you have the anti-money laundering and then you have the terrorist financing. These have to be brought into place. So the first thing was to bring in this reporting entities. Then how do you actually avoid the speculative, interests which are there in the crypto market, because of which the common man should not be affected. Now, if I'm a billionaire, I can afford to lose a few, millions or whatever. But if I'm an ordinary person, that is where the people are targeting. Now I get many messages saying that you get added into groups saying we are doing crypto trading. So anyone, and recently also I came across a carpenter's son who said he's doing trading in crypto. I said, do you know what is the meaning of crypto? No, they've added me in a group and I'm trading along with them. So it is to actually protect these common people from losing their hard-earned money. And then what happens in the case of financial crisis? Now we know that if it is a fiat currency, then it is backed by the sovereign government. But what about a cryptocurrency? There's no backing whatsoever by any government or by any physical asset.
There are no rules and regulations also in most of the countries around these cryptocurrencies. I won't say it has got much of a benefit to be used for the purposes of currencies, because if it is not recognized anywhere, and there are most of the countries which are sort of against the cryptocurrencies being used as currencies, it will be very difficult, or it would rather not be advisable to work on it or use it as a currency. The biggest risk of any commodity not having any regulations or being unregulated is that the government can any day bring up rules to ban such cryptocurrencies.
Currently, the government's stance on cryptocurrencies appears to be mired in confusion. While there's some consensus amongst many circles against imposing a complete ban, the imperative to safeguard citizen investments looms large. The call for robust regulations and policy frameworks is growing louder, with an eye toward preventing any future repercussions that could destabilize our economy.
Actually, 21 bill is, it was never made public. So basically, no one knows about what exactly was the regulatory framework that was proposed under the bill. The earlier version of the bill, which was in 2019, that was available in public, and of course, many people commented and gave their suggestions around what exactly should the provision be. So after 2019, we don't really have a clarity on, what is the vision, what is the broader framework that the government wants to adopt.
I have read the bill. So the bill was a very loose framework, so to say, and it lacked a sort of depth and understanding which was required in order to regulate this market, regulate the blockchain cryptocurrency market. And the bill was quite stringent in a way that the penalties were very high. It was outrightly talking about banning. So I don't think so. The bill was considered with any kind of seriousness by the government. And after that, you remember the Supreme Court judgment had come, which basically struck down the circular which RBI had brought in, where the RBI had given clear instructions to the entities which were regulated by the RBI, basically the banks and NBFCs, not to interact or not to encourage business with cryptocurrency. So that circular was struck down. So the government must have definitely pondered over the Supreme Court judgment, and it was a very thorough judgment. Considering that judgment, I think the government is not talking about totally banning the cryptocurrencies.
The need for clear cryptocurrency regulations is clear, aiming to safeguard investments and national financial stability. However, the lack of concrete action from authorities has left the future of cryptocurrency regulation uncertain, causing concern among investors and the market.